Hey, hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to yet another. I know we just doing a whole lot of these. Another episode of the Men Like Us podcast. It's the podcast made for men by men who appreciate, who are attracted to, who date, marry women in the trans community. Fellas, this show is for you. We do this for you day in and day out. We are here to help educate, help drive growth, drive conversation for you guys. And today we got some really, really special guests. But as always, I have to offer the traditional trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning all day, all night. This is a men's show, so thank you, ladies, for listening. But we're gonna say shit the way we want to say it right now, and that's just how we roll. Obviously while respecting the audience. So, without much further ado, I will bring on my main man, Mike Brooklyn. What's going on, bro?
It's good.
Oh, there you go. Good. All right. Yep. Thanks for joining me yet again. And then the guests of honor today are the creators of the new trans dating app, Jeweled, Avi and Daniella.
Hello. Hi, Chris. Hi, Mike.
Hey.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us today. I know it's I appreciate y'all taking out time for this.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Product placement.
Yeah, right. So, before we get on everything, I really want people to get to know who you are. And somebody's dog is going freaking crazy somewhere. Sorry.
Oh. I ain't got no pets.
Yeah, no, I think that's me. So y'all are like really close friends, and you're both medical professionals. You're nurses, right?
I'm a nurse. So I deal specifically with breast cancer. Oncology is my specialty. Mm-hmm. I've been doing nursing since 2009. So it's been a while that I've been in the industry of healthcare. And I love it. Like, it's such a vast field, medical is. Obviously, this past year has been such a whirlwind in healthcare because of the pandemic, but I feel like we're so resilient and so accommodating as human beings to just go with the flow at times and trying to make things work. So, yeah. And Daniella's an MD, PhD student.
Yeah, I'm a medical student, so I'm not a nurse or anything actually occupational yet. I'm still a student. But I'm training to be, I'm interested in actually plastic surgery. And so my goals are interested in like plastic surgery specifically for trans individuals actually. So I'm finishing my degree for that now.
Well, me and all the rest of the guys, thank you. And people like you. We love your work. And obviously our girlfriends and significant others do too. So, yeah. But I'm sorry. Y'all came to me about your dating app, and it's really been dope watching y'all on social media really interact. Y'all seem like very close friends. Like, how did y'all meet?
Yeah, so it's interesting because when I moved to San Diego, that's where we're based, about 10 years ago. And at that time, I had a dating app in the gay community. It's called Grindr. And it helped me connect with people, especially in the new area. I didn't really use it to date individuals. It was more of a connection, and that's how I met Daniella.
We met on Grindr.
We met on dating.
Oh, wow.
Friend, as she clarified. We met up like, oh my God, you're like literally like my sister, and we went out that night, and it was amazing. And we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, so.
Okay. How long y'all been friends?
A decade. Yeah. A decade.
Wow, that's dope.
10 years.
10 years. That's what's up. And it's really hard to find good friends out there. It is not easy.
Yeah.
Especially when you're moving around for profession, school, whatever else. It's kind of just really hard to make those relationships.
And I think that's very common in the LGBT community specifically, is trying to find that secondary family that's not blood related. And I feel that the majority of individuals in that community are not fortunate enough to have blood-related loved ones. And so to find a person like Daniella and the people that I consider family today is definitely something that I don't take for granted.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, look, we brought y'all on here because we wanted to hear about this new app. I use a ton of dating apps. I've used a couple trans dating apps in the past.
Okay.
Really break it down for us. Tell us about Jeweled.
So Jeweled is a dating app. Obviously, it's our goal for this app is to be a trans-centric app for trans individuals and those that are interested in dating trans individuals. And this idea came about actually years ago. Avi and I were at a nail salon and we're getting our nails done. And we were just talking about how hard dating is. It's so hard. You have to download multiple apps. It's just you can't find people, especially as trans individuals, and I'm guessing also as trans attracted men, it might be really difficult to find trans individuals if that's what you're looking for. And we just discussed the issues with it. Like me personally, dating has been so difficult, like having to deal with people fetishizing me, treating me like a sex object, people ghosting me, people like harassing me. And so I was telling Avi, every once in a while, you do find a rare gem. Every once in a while. And that sort of switched everything in our head about everyone being gems and jewels, and that's how we sort of came up with this idea of Jeweled, the dating app. And it's an app that's a little different than other apps. I would say our hope is to have a personality questionnaire incorporated in the app, and with this personality test, we'll identify you as a certain gemstone or jewel, and that you can actually match with your users based on compatibility of who you are rather than just physical characteristics.
And in addition, this is a different way of dating in general. I think in the past decade, we've seen a transition as far as gender identity and gender fluidity goes, as far as the younger generation, Gen Z specifically. There's literature that shows that there are a growing number of gender fluidity amongst that specific generation, which is essentially the new market. They're adults now. They're 21-year-old plus. And so with that, and in addition to having technology and social media, and how essentially this was built to help connect people, and yet we saw in the past 10 years with Facebook, Instagram, and all the dating apps, it disconnected people. And research does show that we are having higher rates of mental illnesses because of the influence of technology. And our hope for this product is to gain that connectivity with another person. And in order to do that, we have to use healthcare. We have to use the mental and psychosocial features that we hope to embed within this app to cross that boundary of just connecting with somebody in a superficial way and go deeper into a more romantic relationship. And our niche demographic is going to be the transgender community, because we are at higher risk of having those mental illnesses and mental issues. We have disparities across the board, whether it be mental health or physical health or just seeking out healthcare in general. And so we want to do this not only to gain a relationship with another person and having that connection, but also to empower that trans individual, that they have the same resources as their cisgender counterparts.
Wow, you took care of my next question, because my next question really was like, because I was just trying to figure out, like, what are y'all seeing that's, like, what's missing in this current, like, dating app landscape? And you really hit it on the head. Like, there's that added layer of, like, matching people who are actually compatible. And, you can sit there all day and swipe left, swipe right on Tinder and Bumble. But, it's really, I think that's really what it's missing. And it's that extra touch that puts people together who actually, might work out. So
I was so
that's
worried
dope.
about us just being fetishized and being just focused on physical characteristics. And that was, I think, the initial pivot, is to make it more focused on personality, like you said.
Well,
psychosocial features.
So I guess as a tech person myself, it's like, do you think that it's possible that you would get overwhelmed with, accounts being reported for fetishizing and, reviewing messages and all that stuff?
100%. Like there's only so much safeguards that we can in place in a product like a dating app, that you can only block so much that that there are gonna be instances where either the trans attracted or the trans individual gets objectified or gets sexualized in a manner. But we hope that we'll have develop a product out there that will essentially have those in place so that it limits those opportunities for people to just fetishize individuals and start actually connecting with another person.
Yeah, I mean that fetishizing is definitely a thing. I've only experienced it on dating apps where, I don't know, just the way that some people talk to each other on dating apps. I mean, I had to really turn around and use words that I've heard women say on women, like, "Excuse me, would you like somebody to talk to you like that? Like, would you prefer to treat me like a human being? Like, I'm
What
not
are
just."
some? I have a question for you,
Yeah.
Chris. What are some of the things that you've encountered in the past being fetishized as a trans attracted or just as a man, as Chris? Like, what are some of the things that you've encountered?
The only angle it's ever come from is the fact that I'm Black. So it's really this idea out there that all Black men have 12-inch dicks, and it's like, hey, daddy, what's going on with that? What's going on with that piece? Show me, send me a picture. Let me see what's going on here. Like, but they come so sexual and so hard because I'm Black, and they're really trying to see what that, and I'm like, I'm actually here like using the dating app to get a relationship. Am I doing this wrong?
Yeah.
So, I've gotten a couple people on that tip and a couple women, and I've blocked. I'm at a point now where I just block people off top. But at first I was really just trying to be like, hey, look, that is not how you talk to somebody. Please talk to me in a respectful manner that you would expect me to talk to you. And then, usually it's just crickets because they're not here for respectful conversation. They're there for some dirty shit, and that's cool. There are apps for that, but that's the only thing that I've experienced. But I know it's mostly connected to me being Black.
I feel like that's like 75% of my conversation with matches on dating apps. Mind you, I've been blocked out of 70% of dating
all
apps.
the dating apps. Every day she texts me a new app that she got blocked.
Oh, damn.
I don't necessarily think they're blocking because I'm trans, just because they know that I'm a potential competitor in the future. So essentially they block me because I'm using customers as their customers to just seek out data and what they like. But
she researches the man.
I research not only man, I just research the interface of certain dating apps, and so they catch on to me in that sense. But anyways, I feel like 3/4 of the messages begin with "Are you pre or post-op being trans?" And it's so discouraging to continue a conversation.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like, what about my favorite color?
Oh, yeah, what about hobbies?
What about my favorite food? What about my name?
Your name. Yeah, no, look, and I've been very, vocal here on this app, but on this show about my preference in that regard. But I will say it's still very crass and trash as fuck to start your conversation there. Like, get to know somebody, have a conversation with them. It's gonna come out eventually, but at the very least, you might have just made a friend. And this happened where I made a friend, and there's people I'm cool with now who just weren't a good match for me, but they're a good person and somebody that I can go to. And in fact, one of my best friends now, two of my best friends who are trans women were just women that we weren't a good match for each other in that way, but we are really good friends. And we just sit there and, have our little, I know the women are going to gag. See, women are going to gag at me using their language, but we just sit there and kiki on just bullshit all day. And, I just spend my whole day on the phone with my friends, just kicking it. But, that is trash as fuck that people start out like that. And that is not what it's supposed to be,
Well, the thing with most dating apps, the people that are using them don't understand that there's a time and a place for everything. And if your question pertains to preferences, there's a time and a place where those questions come about. And I'm sorry, but when I say, how are you doing? That's not the time and place for you to ask those kinds of questions.
Sorry, I put them up bigger. All right. What's going on, Trail? Thanks for joining us, man.
How y'all? Sorry I'm late.
But I did have a question though in pertaining to like certain things that would have to do with the dating app as far as like, the features go. Because a lot of times when, say, I go on Tinder or I go on Tagged or Bumble, whatever the better dating app is in the area, I have nothing against sex workers. Like, women can do what they're going to do. But I notice that a lot of times the sex workers take up a huge space within the dating app. And then when you're a person like myself that might not be looking for that, and I try to find a woman who is not in that life, it's like it's probably going through at least 100 different people before I find somebody that isn't in that line of work. Is there a way on your dating app that you're going to be able to like place people in different areas on the app where you could actually find what you're looking for?
I mean, I think, as Avi was mentioning, our sense of security and surveillance will be really strong. We can't control everything that users are doing, but our focus is on personality over physicality and fiscal gain, I guess. And so our goal definitely isn't to, I would say we're not going to categorize people based on like whether they're working girls or not. I don't think the legality of that even, I don't know, what's your take on that?
I think category was a bad word, but I mean, I just mean like in a way to like make it more easier to find a certain type of person that you're looking for that, because when you're on a dating app, there's ads, like about me sections and everything like that. But, like I said, like with certain apps, it's just that everything gets lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to filter through essentially. So our app, our product is going to be promoting wellness and well-being of that individual. So if a sex worker was to use the app, it wouldn't, I feel like talking about one's emotions and feelings, it wouldn't trigger them to hopefully not promote themselves as a sex worker. Obviously, if they do, then they do. There's nothing that we can do to hold or be against that. Like, that's a lot of our population as a transgender community. That's what the trans people know what to do as far as like what society's trained them to do. And so to disregard them for being a sex worker, I feel like it wouldn't it would disempower them as an individual. We want them to gain more confidence as far as a person and not sell themselves as a sex object. Obviously, this is not an app to be promoting yourself that way. So we are hopefully incorporating certain features that would prevent them, or not prevent them, but help them grow in a sense and help them see that there's other avenues in life versus just sex working.
Yeah. And I think our goal on the app is that this is a personality, mental wellness focused app. And so they're going to use this app for that. And that's, I think, our goal is, if they're going to do whatever on Backpage, whatever, like I'm not part of that, like sort of, they can do what they want, but on Jeweled, I think our focus, and I think our trans users will realize this is an app that's meant to empower you. This isn't, meant to be something you download and make money. I think that'll be pretty obvious once we're released.
Yeah, definitely, which is why I said, like, I'm not anti-sex worker. I mean, everybody has their hustle. It's just that, like, if I'm on a dating app, and I'm looking for a certain type of woman, and all of a sudden I have, like, say, like 10 messages in my inbox, like, 200 for this or 150 for that, stuff like that. And I'm just like, not why I came here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're looking to block solicitation, pretty much. That's really in a nutshell what it is, right?
Well, I'm saying if I'm on a dating app, like, I mean, that's pretty much not what I'm there looking for.
Well,
but I noticed with certain apps, they just like kind of, like I said, it all gets shuffled and you end up having that kind of situation.
Well, a lot of dating apps, you can report messages as spam. So, you just got to report messages. You got to stay on top of that and just, I mean, it's a situation where the community polices itself. And,
I think we don't realize that too as a user, as far as like being on a dating app, we kind of get lost in how we've portrayed ourselves in dating apps and how we respond to other matches or other users that we get into a mode where we're just asking, giving the same salutations and going back and forth. And so I hope to break that pattern and help realize that if you're talking to somebody that you don't want to talk to, it's okay to stop talking to them and move on. Like, I feel like a lot of times it's hard for us to receive rejection and get a no from another match when in actuality it's fine. Like, there's somebody out there for you. It'll be okay.
I don't give them a no. I just unmatch. Like, I get rid of them. I block, unmatch, whatever. Like, I'm not going to give you a goodbye message. Like, I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm not interested. Next. But that's just how I handle dating apps myself. Season betting this shit. So, you know, is what it is on that front. But, you know, I just don't. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tro.
Yeah, for me, that's why I never really got on dating apps, because that's all I heard. Like, in the past, it was like, oh, every time, you know, friends of mine, they'd be like, yo, every time I get on a dating app, the girls is on there selling themselves. And I'm like, wow, you know, so that's why I never really took in dating apps. Like, the only apps I have is social media, like the regular social media stuff. But I always wanted to know how it is on an actual dating app for trans women and men like us. Like, I always wanted to know about that. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay. We got some reactions here. Oh yeah, so Leighton MUA was saying, I've been locked out of many dating apps as well. Dating apps are hard because people don't always take them serious enough, less enough to invest time to fill out their profiles. Yeah, I definitely will not. I am one of those guys that actually reads the profiles because I learned my lesson. I met a girl on Bumble and I'm on my way to the first date. And I'm like, all right, let me do a little research. Like, I'm in the lift. Let me look at the profile and see what's going on here. She was a cute girl. But, you know, lo and behold, I didn't know she was trans. I just found out on the way to the date that she was trans. And then I was like, okay, cool. Like, she ended up being my second trans girlfriend. But it was like, I wasn't even like hunting or searching for that. It just happened. And I'm like, dang, probably should have known that earlier. Like, we probably could have related on a whole new level. But I didn't read the fucking profile like all guys do. We just swipe. That's all we do. We're sitting on the couch just swiping, doing nothing. So,
excuse me, I read profiles.
Well, I was not. I'm sitting in heavy traffic. Traffic is stopped. But yeah, you know, empty profiles are the worst, because if you match with somebody with an empty profile, you can't, as the guy, typically the guys, we have to start the conversation and kind of, you know, we got to spit game. And it's just like, I got nothing to work with. I got no material here because you didn't say anything about what you like, what your favorite, whatever the fuck is. Like, I got nothing. So it's just, if she's cute enough, I'll try, but usually I just like, nope, unmatch.
Unfortunately for me, like, obviously, Daniella, you don't have dating apps, but maybe you can talk about the past.
In another life.
Just to make it prominent that I am trans. So, like, I have, like, every comment, I'm a trans woman. Did you know that I'm a trans woman? Yeah. By the way, I'm a trans woman. I do that too. I don't want to encounter somebody, and they still do for some reason. I feel like guys still match me not knowing that I'm trans, which is fine. Yeah. But
yeah, I saw that on your Instagram.
That's why it's so important. So to have a space specifically for trans and trans attracted individuals, knowing that this is a space where you don't have to be so loud about your transness and focus on more of your humanness and who you are.
Yeah, no, definitely. I love it. I love the approach. So I'm here for it. That's the whole reason why I was really getting warm to the idea of matchmakers, just because it's like, I need something better and has more depth than Tinder and Bumble. Because this is just a random swiping, and it's just, I'm not getting anywhere with this shit. And nobody is. Everybody's still alone or not in a relationship. They're still just, it's not working. It just ain't working. So I'm glad y'all are doing something different here. Let's see. I'm sorry, we got comments. There. Okay. Sabrina says dating websites start off with good intent, but wind up turning into hookup sites. The bigger the site gets, the more it strays from its original integrity, which might be the whole purpose of this being a very niche, product. Am I wrong in that, or I want to answer for y'all?
Not at all. Yeah, that's why we focus on the trans community specifically, because this is where the disparity lies as far as like healthcare in general. And so we want to focus more, again, not necessarily on developing a romantic relationship, but developing a relationship with yourself. I feel like being trans and going through the transition, you get so confused and you don't know where to go and you don't know what resources are available. And so we want to be more than just a dating app, but essentially a wellness app for that trans person.
That's what's up. That is definitely dope. And that's a huge piece of the game that a lot of people are missing. Whether it's a woman, you get your body done, you show up ready to date somebody, or the man, you go out there and get your career, get some money. But then neither one of y'all worked on your mind, and your mind you got so much untreated trauma and baggage that all of your relationships fall to shit. And it's just like people really have to start working on the mental aspect of it, because it is so key, and it's just not a priority for people. I just wish it were and I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers, but I gave the trigger warning in the beginning of the stream, but you weren't there for it. Tough. Look, it's folks out here dropping, literally 6 figures on their body and spend literally $0 on their mental health.
It's true.
We got to change that. We got to prioritize mental health. It is so, so important. And I only say that because I have friends from past relationships to friends and other people that I've seen. It's just like, dang. It's all these things just sitting there, just untreated, just weighing on this person. And then you show up and you expect your partner to be the one to like shoulder all the burden of all this untreated trauma. And it's just like, it's never going to work. Never going to work. So I don't know. I'm sorry. This is what I do on the show, y'all. I just talk shit and just say how I see things.
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I don't think the people in the back heard you.
Say it with your chest.
Yes, honest talk.
But I feel like that's like when people look at transgender individuals, they just see the physicality of it and not necessarily the transition mentally. And I mean, being in healthcare, I knew a little bit about like hormone replacement therapy and how that's gonna affect my emotions and how I feel and how I metabolize things in my mind. But it was still a whirlwind knowing that. And I remember my first therapy session with my psychologist. She's like, why do you want to be here? This is before I took hormone replacement therapy and before I came out as a trans woman. I told her I'm doing this prophylactically to prevent any mental health issues that would occur for me going through this process of transitioning. And I think that's important for trans or non-trans individuals. If you know that you're going through a change, like it's so important to have a professional guide you that's unbiased, that's not your friend or family member, to talk to you and through things that's going on in your head.
I have to mirror exactly what she's saying. Like I would say years ago, I thought therapists were kind of full of crap, like in honesty, and I would blame all my relationship failures on the man. Every single time I was like, it's the man.
Wow.
No offense to anyone. I have since then realized so much about myself. And I know you said you might ask me these questions later, but because of my learning of myself, I feel like I have been in one of the most successful relationships I've ever been in. And it's because of me working on myself more than anything. It almost has nothing to do with him, to be honest. I mean, it does have to do with him, but like more me, I'd say, working on my own self, like wellness.
Sorry, just give a little applause. I mean, really, very, very quickly, and I don't want to get stuck on this, but, we were just talking about relationships last night, and specifically, we were talking about the whole thing with Jen and Mike and infidelity and all that stuff. And we were just like, look, and I was telling people, like, if somebody cheats on somebody, it's more about what's happening inside of them. Like that other person, there's nothing wrong with that other person. That person that did the cheating, there's something happening, and then there's a whole whatever. Like, so I mean, you know, taking care of yourself is really just so important. So I just wanted to bring that up because it's like it speaks to exactly what we were talking about last night. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little my feathers were ruffled. I was out here to read somebody for filth. I was upset, but it's what it is.
Wait,
So we ain't going back there. Everybody watch the other stream.
I did watch it though, because I was really intrigued by the whole situation. I actually texted Avi. I was like, "Girl, Janet Mock cheated on her man," and I just flipped out and was like messaging her, and yeah. And then I watched your podcast last night.
Oh, well, there you go.
So this is why we need a dating app for trans individuals and trans attracted individuals. It's not gonna be the relationship that our parents or what we've learned to know and how to.
I mean, those days are done.
Have a relationship, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like, and this goes back to the point of therapists and psychologists. It's so important. I feel like if I were to decide to be intimate and to be in a monogamous relationship with another person, or polygamous, who knows, like, but to be in that understanding, to be with that other person, I want to have that therapist with us to talk through how I communicate things, because I feel like that's where a lot of relationships fall apart, is not being able to communicate how you feel and what you want. And so it's so important. Even I want to, like, in the first 6 months of a relationship, it's so important to have a couples therapy. Just to talk through how each other communicates. Like, hey babe.
No, that's definitely dope. And you know, I've heard that before, where it's like, get that therapy up front before it's too late. Because if you're sitting there a few years in and you're just like,
yes,
you never had any therapy, it's too late.
Yeah, insert Jeweled app, the dating app. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
A meaningful relationship. Yeah.
I'm with it. I'm here for all of that shit. Because, you know, really, and I wasn't going to go in this direction, but, you know, I think we kind of went there, or when you talked about like our parents' relationships. Yeah. I think one of the biggest problems in the dating world right now is the fact that we're forcing traditional ideals on a modern dating world. Like, those days are gone where, you know, one person works, the man brings home the bacon, the woman doesn't have to work, and they can a man working one job can provide for a wife and 2.5 children. Right. It just most guys don't have that kind of money. Like, you know, 6-figure land is, you know, top 8 to 10% of men, and beyond that, you know, it gets obviously way less. But it's just like those days are gone, and we're just forcing these, you know, man got to pay for everything, or woman got to be doing this, or guy, you know, when the woman makes more, the man has a problem. And it's just all these things. It's like, guys, we have to live and date in the world that we live in now. And we just have to throw out all these ideas about my parents' relationship, my grandparents' relationships. Like, well, my daddy did this. Okay, well, your daddy was dating your mom in the 70s, and that, you know, like, they could do that because he could get a good job on a high school diploma. Like, it's people out here with master's degrees and they're fucking baristas. Like, not to shit on baristas, shout out to baristas, but, you know, it just isn't the same. So, you know, it's really kind of just whack.
Plus, back then, $10 an hour was considered a good job.
There's all of that. Yeah. But yeah, definitely. I don't know. Can either of y'all speak to that? I'm sure Avi can really speak to it, because you're just out here in this. You in the streets on these dating apps is what you single. You in the streets. You single like me and Mike above me. Oh yeah, now Trill.
Well, I contribute to the fact that my dad is a pastor, and so I was raised in a very conservative environment since I was a child, and so I didn't have just 2 sets of parents. I had the whole congregation looking down on me and dictating on what I should be wearing, where I should be sitting in the church, how I should be behaving, what type of activities I should be involved in. And I saw church members outside of what Sabbath was. And so they would come into our private home and have my dad consult them. And so there was no escaping that sense of tradition and upbringing. And I feel like that definitely was a liberating moment to finally detach from that lifestyle that I was raised up with. Obviously, it brought really good values, and how I interpret things now is very manicured to how I was brought up as a pastor's kid. But letting go of that identity helped me shape myself, and that transition was liberating for me as far as being who I am today.
Yeah, it felt good, didn't it? Get away from that church. Felt good as fuck. But I was brought up in the church too. I made a whole video about my mother's reaction to be, coming out, and it was all about what are people at the church going to think. What are it's, oh my goodness, it was all this Christian-y stuff, whatever. But I feel you. I wasn't a PK like you. I wasn't a PK, but I was definitely at church.
I actually, when I go back to the church today, where my dad pastors, it's very rare that I do. They welcome me with so much love, and they're very proud of where I am today. And
of course, that's your family.
It comes from fear, mind you. This is a zero generation Indonesian church, so a lot of the congregation was not raised in the American culture. They were just raised in Indonesia and immigrated to America. And so a lot of that value came with them. And they didn't know how people were going to treat me as a trans woman. They only thought about the negativity of what media brought as far as what a trans person is, the stigmatization of a transgender individual. And so they feared for my safety, and that's what they exude every time I come back and see that I am successful and that I am okay. It makes them happy to see me that I am this way.
That's dope. The church. That's one thing that like some folks don't. If you're not raised in a church, you just don't get it. Like these are people that like watch us grow up. They're our family. Those are my uncles, aunts, whatever.
Yeah.
Like they were there for all of it. Embarrassing moments, embarrassing looks, hairstyles, whatever. They were there from the beginning. And
when
they're
your other gender.
Yes. Oh well, yeah, right. They got all the dirt on you. They know what's going on. And that's actually that was actually an issue or something that that's definitely something I haven't figured out how I'm going to approach, because there when you're in a relationship, there's always going to be that let's go home trip, that moment where you bring a girl home to your family, all of that stuff. But my blood family is one thing, but I really do wish I could bring her to meet my church family, because these are all people that grew up with my parents. They were all kids together, and all their kids, we all grew up together. It's a large family, and it's a lot of good feelings there. But my church is definitely not one that is positive towards any LGBT sort of lifestyle. So it's just like I want to bring my future girlfriend, wife, whoever, to meet the people that helped raise me, but I don't know if this week is going to be, anti whatever lifestyle week. I can't subject somebody to that. Like, so it's like, I don't want to risk putting somebody in a space where they're being hated.
Right.
And then, it's just a whole thing. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I would hate to not just not go, period, because like my pastor is my dad's best friend. My dad died when I was young, so he really him and a lot of guys at the church stepped in to help like pitch in. So it's really, family. And it's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I haven't figured this out yet. It's been on my mind. I was in a relationship, and I was definitely getting to the point where I'm like, all right, well, we got to go back to Wisconsin one of these days, and what am I going to do? Am I going to skip church completely and just not see all the people that I grew up with?
I can play the role. I was raised in a in a very religious.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I don't go to church that much no more. So even though I live I'm seriously like 3 minutes, I can walk to Joel Osteen's church from my apartment building. Like
You don't want to go to that church? You don't want to go to that
I
church?
just don't go to church.
I think that's the thing that we have to think about too, is how that whole idea of religion is also evolving. It's always been evolving. And so there are communities, religious groups out there that are very LGBT friendly. And it's important to realize that that they do exist.
That's what's up. Hey y'all, so I want to take a quick break, and I want to play this video for everyone because this video, Daniella made a video, and she was very supportive of guys like us or men like us. And it was the first video I've ever seen dedicated to showing support and appreciation for men who are open, guys who are out there, doing their damn thing. And, for those of y'all that don't know, we don't get a lot of support. And there are times where men, we're human. We need support and we need love too. And when she made this video, it really just I was just blown away by it. And I shared it with all my guy friends. And I even shared it a month later. Like I probably shared every month or every other month since then. But it's just I just keep coming back to the video because it's just when I'm feeling like, man, nobody's supporting me or this community that I think would support me just has no love for me. I'm like, I'm going to watch this video.
Oh my God.
So, your video really reaches people, and I appreciate you for it. So I want to play it for everybody here, and then we're going to come back and just talk about some community things, and then we will wrap it up.
Awesome. Okay.
So we'll take everybody off. All right. I think everybody need to mute.
Men, cisgender men, trans men, maybe. I love you. You can watch this to learn, but this is a video for the men who love us. And I want this video to be dedicated to viewers out there that are trans-attracted, trans-amorous, trans admirers, and are open to dating trans people openly. So for those of you who are watching this who are men, straight men, bi men, pansexual men, cisgender men, trans men, maybe, I love you. Like genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I love you. I think it is so important for your voice, almost more so than anyone's, in my personal opinion, to be heard. And the reason why I feel this is the case is because trans women were a minority. We're a huge minority. Only 0.6% of the population in the United States identify as transgender. And that's about 2 million Americans. If you split that in half, maybe 1 million Americans are trans women, 1 million are trans men. I don't know this male to female ratio, but give or take. And obviously we have non-binary and everything in between and outside. So we're a very small amount of people. There is way more of you, men out there, cis men, attracted to trans people than there are trans people. Way more. If that was ever a doubt in your mind, there's way more. And our voices are only so powerful and so strong, right? And I really think in order for the world to finally come to terms with these issues, these trans issues, in order for the world to prevent trans violence, trans oppression, trans discrimination, trans objectification, trans sexualization, we need your voice, because your voice is stronger, it's louder, it's listened to more, right? A lot of people don't want to hear a trans person on a stage blibber blabbering about trans statistics. I hate to say that, and I'm so sorry, trans people, I love you, and I'm a trans person, but a lot of people aren't there yet. They don't want to hear it. A lot of conservative people aren't there yet. And it would benefit those people so much more to hear a voice from a guy, a regular guy who happens to be trans attracted, trans amorous, a trans admirer, open to dating trans people. They're going to be way more willing to listen to that person because that person they identify with. They see a dude up there talking. They identify with that. When you're a trans person up there talking, the majority are not going to really fully identify with you or understand you. Now, of course, we're going to have our supporters and our allies and our advocates, but you have to realize there's so many more people in this country that are not going to accept us. And I really think it is so important to hear the voices of you cis men, you, right? So much more sometimes than the voice of me. And I really want to highlight that in this video is that your voice is so strong. And it hurts my soul that so many of you, I'm not saying it's you in particular, but so many of people that are trans attracted, that are men, have a hard time speaking. They have a hard time communicating this voice. They have a hard time loving trans people openly. They have a hard time with it. They think perhaps in a way it emasculates them, or it's something that doesn't need to be said, or it's no one else's business, or that's their private life. I get it. But think about it. You are interested in dating someone who is literally at the bottom of society. So I'm about to deliver some hard pills to swallow, but bear with me and try to listen without too much judgment. We live in a society where men would rather kill us than admit to being attracted to us. Being silent about this is a choice. Investing in the low-stakes girlfriend is a choice. Investing in the part-time girlfriend is a choice. Investing in the secret girlfriend is the choice. Some cis men are so disillusioned that this isn't a part of their life, this isn't their issue, this isn't something that's about them, that we're left to suffer, we're left to struggle. We're carrying your burden for you. And yet we're meant to just strengthen our resilience and claw back up and take it and withstand it and just be at the bottom of society and just deal with it. And with all that being said, I still love you because I know this isn't everyone. I know not all cis men who are trans attracted are this way. I know that. And I'm not talking to you if you already are accepting and are already are open and already are loving. I thank you. And I love you for being open and willing to date a trans person. But if you make it known, you're going to help lift these people that you are in love with. If you can scream on the top of your lungs, I love a trans person, you are going to make tectonic shifts in the world. And that's not me thinking something, that's a fact. That is a fact, okay? That is a fact. If our president, I'm just saying right now, this isn't true, I don't think it's true, but if our president, Biden, tomorrow said, I'm trans attracted and my wife is transgender, the world would shift hugely so. Versus, the health assistant secretary of state, the trans woman that was elected, if she's out there open as trans, it's going to be harder. She has a pretty high up status, but it's going to be harder. No one's going to listen to her. No one is listening to her. I posted about her on my Instagram, and I've never seen so much hate on my Instagram. I've never seen so much hate. on my Instagram, because I posted the Secretary of Health, who happens to be a trans woman. I have never seen so much hate on my Instagram, ever. Now, every day I get a message on that post and I have to delete it. That's a man. They didn't shave their beard. What is he doing? Misgendering with he. And now they're going through other posts of mine and saying things about me. And they were never open to me until they saw that influential person who's trans. Now, that trans person is making shifts. I'm not saying they're not making shifts. They are. But if Biden said that he was trans attracted, everything would change. Yes, people would not be comfortable with it at first. But over time, things will progress way faster, in my opinion. And I don't mean to get so intense about it, but I truly believe, cis men, we need you. We need you so much. And I get it. And I really feel for cisgender men so much. I think there is a huge lack of community for all of you guys. And a lot of times you guys feel like you don't need it. And I get it. You want to be yourself. You want to be independent. You don't feel the need to have that. I get it. A lot of men in general might not feel that need, and that's fine. But I do think there needs to be a bigger presence of trans-attracted cis men declaring their love for trans people openly and lovingly. I think it's so important. Your voice is so powerful. Because right now we are carrying your burden. You might not think of it as a burden, but when you are not open about loving a trans person, we have to carry that burden on us. And we have to claw tooth and nail to fight for our existence, our ability to live our lives. And we're expected to be so resilient, as everyone finds so inspiring. Oh my God, you're so resilient as a trans person. Yeah, cool. Maybe for a day, I don't want to be resilient. Maybe I just want to be me. I just want to be me. Maybe I want to feel weak. Maybe I want to be weak for a day and just relax. Maybe I don't feel the need every day to be resilient and powerful and strong and independent and take everyone's BS, right? Maybe I just want to live and exist. Maybe we're sick of carrying this burden upon us. And I really think the cis men out there that love us can help propel this community forward. I really, truly do. And I encourage all you cis men, this is out of complete love and acceptance of you, to declare your love publicly. Don't be secretive. Don't be on the DL, because there's a huge difference between a trans-attracted, transamorous man and a chaser. And I know the word chaser is so stigmatized. I will not be calling any cis man who's attracted to trans women a chaser in this video. But if you are loving a trans person in private, if you are having sex with a trans person in private because you are worried, concerned, you are ashamed, I hate to say it, but that's a chaser. Now, if you are loving and accepting of a trans woman in public, when you are with her, you are proud, you're not a chaser. You're an amazing, beautiful man who happens to be trans attracted, trans amorous, trans open, trans admirer. That's beautiful. So thank you. I appreciate you. I see you. I love you. And I really think all of you need to somehow form some type of community and talk to each other. And I can recommend a couple podcasts. And a couple Instagram accounts, Men Like Us. It's a riff off of Girls Like Us, which is the hashtag for trans people, trans girls. Men Like Us is an Instagram account and podcast that discuss these issues. They're trans attracted men and they discuss these issues openly. Another podcast or account I would follow is Lex Newman. He's hugely beneficial. He has lots of followers. He has Karen Carrera following him. And he is openly discussing trans issues as a cis man. I think it's beautiful. And some trans people be like, oh, they shouldn't be speaking for us. I get it. But these people aren't speaking for us. They're speaking for them. And that, in return, will benefit us, trans people. So I really feel for you guys. I really see you guys. And I really hope if you're watching this video and you're one of the men out there who love us, you think to be more open, to talk more. Talk to your guy friends about this. I know it's hard. I know it's really effing hard. Make little steps, little baby steps. I truly believe that the most masculine, manly, and sexy thing you can do is love your trans girlfriend openly and publicly. Because that takes balls. That takes masculinity. That takes confidence. Now you're Superman. Please contact me if you're interested in getting in contact with people that are trans attracted men, or anything in that nature. It was always one of my passions to start a group actually for men that are open to dating trans people, because
Okay. So, yeah, that video, fucking special as hell. And you know, all I got for you is just applause. We'll bring back on for me, give her roses. Get back on. Oh no, not me. All right, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. It is so amazing to be seen and heard and understood. It is so fucking amazing. Oh, y'all are muted. Oh, is everybody muted? Okay. Well, anywho, what was I gonna do? Oh, right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. You have no idea how big this is. Yes, I'm playing the wounded cis man, but god damn it, we need some love and support too. And somebody who uses their platform to support us and then actually acknowledge, hey, there's a difference between chasers and these open, trans attracted, transamorous guys. That is fucking huge. You have no idea how huge that is. I mean, fucking huge. So it is, yeah, absolutely amazing. And that was one point I wanted to hit. But, you know, something else you said in there was, you know, cis men need community. And,
Yeah.
you know, I really think, you know, and you said, you know, that there were guys that don't feel that way. And, you know, to the guys out there who believe that we don't need community, we shouldn't band together in support of each other. I mean, real talk. This whole lone wolf culture, I mean, we've done it for a while now, and it hasn't done anything good for us. We have to change our behaviors if we want a different result. And this whole lone wolf thing, I'm gonna, you know, not tell anybody or nobody needs to know or I don't care. All that stuff is just it's kept us separated. It doesn't help us at all. And what a lot of men who think this really are missing is how much you can help somebody else. There may be another guy out there who is, you know, in a situation, they need some advice, whatever else, and then you are telling your story and they're learning from you. I've been helped by just hearing other men talk and share their experience. The married guys, the guys in relationships, even OG Troy, who's, you know, been around for a minute, like all these guys. And, and this is the last piece because I really kind of just took little notes on it, but you know, the living with the burden of DL men is like really fucking real. And every guy on here, we all have friends that have, you know, been frustrated and had to live with the burden of the mental fragility of a lot of toxic ass cis men. And, you know, that's trash as fuck. And I just, like, this is a reality. And guys out there listening, like, this is a fucking reality. Like, you have to get yourself together for your partner. And I'm not going to take up all the speaking time here on this thing. Trail, Mike, y'all have anything you want to just add about the video?
Yeah. Me personally, I love how she broke down the whole chaser thing, because a lot of girls get that really like blurred. That's like a blurred line between with the girls. They always say just because a man is open openly attracted to trans women, and he's not hiding at all. This is how he lives every day in everyday life. This is just him, and he's open. You know what I mean? I lost friends, family, all that behind this. Now, I'm not up here for a pity party or nothing like this. I don't care about it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the word chaser really needs to be erased, because a lot of girls that use it don't even understand how to use it. They don't know how to use it, and it's sad. And the way how she broke it down in that video is perfect, because that's basically the definition of me. You know, I could walk around holding my woman's hand. I could walk around and stand, and stand with her anywhere. You understand me? If I'm out and about and we get strange looks, I'm looking back at the person. Like, yeah, but what happened? Yeah, what's going on? You see what's going on here? Keep it moving. You know, that's me. I love it. I'm the type, I take all the goddamn bullets for that. I don't care. I take it all. But the word chaser really needs to be eliminated. If you don't know the real meaning about it, don't use it. For real. I tell people all the time, if you're not gonna educate yourself on something, don't speak on it. Especially when it comes to transgender. A lot of people don't get it, don't understand it, and I tell them, if you're not willing to understand it, don't speak on it. That's that.
Word, and I have witnessed the hand holding. So I visited Trell in New York. I have witnessed that he does hold hands with his girlfriend. Brother Mike.
Yeah, no, I mean, Trell said it great, but from me personally, I just want to thank you for what you said, because I mean, like Trell said, like there are a lot of women that don't recognize us for who we are. They just recognize us for all the negative stereotypes that a lot of DL men have brought to the forefront, and like we end up taking the brunt on it, and the DL men never have to take any of it at all, because they just get the skate. So yeah, I do appreciate you recognizing us and just putting us out there like that.
I really appreciate that. I was gonna say that this video is honestly inspired by my boyfriend in a lot of ways, because me dating him and he's been so open with me. He definitely opened my eyes to men, like, oh wow, there's men that will actually go with me to the movie theater and not leave me stranded and decide to, resell the tickets, which I've had happen before. Oh, he actually will go with me to meet his family. Oh, he'll actually, and it just inspired me to realize this whole group of men that I think maybe a lot of trans girls aren't even fully aware of either, because they're so closed off to it. They're not seeing these men that exist in the world. And the word chaser, I really think our language needs to expand. I always think about this, that there are men that are, whatever you want to call it, transamorous, trans attracted. I think what needs to happen is maybe a broader definition of sexuality, right? I think, if a man is attracted to a man, we don't call that a fetish. We don't call that a chaser of a man. We call it, gay. If they're part of, so, and there's probably a word that we don't have even the vocabulary for yet. That's my guess. And so we use these other words and we throw them around, and I think it's willy-nilly, and it's just man-made language, and I think it's all made up. And I think at the end of the day, you love who you love, and that's what matters. So I really appreciate all the support.
No, we love it. And you brought up something else, and I just want to talk about this real quick, and I promise I'll let y'all go. Y'all know y'all stuck around with me for an hour here. So, one of the things you brought up there was you were talking about Joe Biden, and using that as a tool to, help normalize relationships between trans women and cis men. And I really kind of want to have a conversation and what do you guys really think what are some of the things that you think would really move the needle for us? Because it's there's a lot of folks out there that are waiting on this, I don't know, is the celebrity the silver bullet? Is that going to do it, or is there something else? By all means.
I mean, I think for me personally, I do think media coverage is so important. Like, I just watched Mortal Kombat last night. This is really good, I swear. The lead male is an Asian guy, right? And if you think about lead males, even 5 years ago, it was always white men. And the fact that the lead male is a character who's often the quiet one, the Asian stereotype was actually the lead character. He's like the I don't know who's seen Mortal Kombat yet, but it made me realize this is going to change things. This is going to cause a shift in culture. People are going to start to aspire to be that man, right? And it makes Asian culture actually more represented. And I think the same goes for trans women, trans men, trans attracted men. Like, if we can see more of these things in the media, I do think it'll cause people to shift. Especially the youth, I think, because they're so impressionable and they're going to see these things growing up. And if they're seeing, on TV, men openly dating trans girls and this and that, and I think it's going to just like, oh, that's just life. That's how it is. And right now we're not seeing that. And so I do think it's seen as taboo and a fetish and all these other things that I don't agree with. But yeah.
It has improved though in this past decade where social media has occurred. We've seen trans people to be more than just sexualized beings. They were actors and actresses, and they were people in politics, and they were doctors and nurses. So in a sense, it does help break that stigmatization to see people that are trans in the limelight.
Well, I get it's a period piece, but I guess the most popular piece of trans media right now is the FX show Pose. And I'm hoping maybe we'll get positive male representation in season 3. Probably doubtful since there's only a couple episodes in there, so you don't really have time to build up anything. But it's I think I was just a little disappointed because it was just like, I get that, again, I get it was a period piece, but you know what? Also, this shit's fiction. It's based on true stories, but you have wiggle room for fiction, okay? We can normalize some shit here, but all we normalized was the narrative of the chaser, which was, I don't know if y'all watch the show too, like repeatedly, like some of us do here, but they had the chaser guy that was, with the little poems and whatever else. And then you had Stan, the white guy, which I love this storyline because I love James Vanderbeek. Just the fact that we fit him into Pose was dope. But yeah, that whole thing. And it was just like, I just would love to see like a regular ass relationship. Like Lil Poppy is a thing and that's cool. And, my heart is with him right now. But he was already inside the community. And a lot of us, we come from the outside and we're living our regular lives out here. And then we just kind of walk into this brand new world. And, I would just love to see a show that represents that. I've seen some pieces of media where there are trans actresses who are playing characters and then they're in relationships with cis men, but I don't even remember like it being brought up that they were trans, which I think is great. That's the way it should be. Totally should be. But I would love to see that explained a little bit more. I think Trell, weren't you saying that was in The Shy? Was a thing?
Show called The Shy. They have a trans actress on there named Jasmine Davis. She plays Imani on the show. They don't really touch on her being trans. The big thing about her character is she's a ride or die girl. Anything he's with, she's with. That, and I love that. I love their storyline because it's so beautiful. And The Shy comes back on May 23rd. So yeah.
Oh, then you ready for it?
Yeah.
You ready for it, man? Well, yeah, I just think the whole, I think media can definitely help. I just think I would just love to see the representations out there of just like a functioning couple or, not even, I think we're so far back when it comes to media that we don't even have media portrayals of us like actually engaging each other in a non-antagonistic manner. Like we're not even at that point where people can just be friends or, we're not always at each other's throats. And, anyway, so but I think the big, like the celebrity, like I always use him because he's like my model for like the Black, celebrity that all the women want, like the Michael B. Jordans of the world, like, that guy coming out or somebody else coming out. I really think it would take like a group, like one person isn't going to be enough. I think it would take like 4 or 5 guys coming out like in succession inside of a year and just really making it a thing. Because at that point, now you can't scapegoat that one guy. There is no Malik Yoba. There's Malik Yoba right. And then this guy, and then this guy, and then this guy. And now we can't, because, the way that this all works, we at least with the Black community, we target one person at a time. So Malik Yoba was, put on display, filleted for everybody to see, and it was kind of trash, but
yeah, because they destroyed him.
Yeah, Yeah, but it's I don't know. I'm just saying I'm not sure if the celebrity thing is it, but if it is, there's got to be more than one celeb in my mind.
I think it's everything. Like I feel like that's why we're so interested in the younger generation, the Gen Z population, because the numbers are growing in that specific era.
Yeah, there's more trans people in the Gen Z population than ours. Like we're like, 2 million, 0.6% of our country, but Gen Z's higher than that, And I think it's interesting to see how the young generation is so open with gender, and they're already starting to be it's more fluid and more accepting and not even questioning things. And I think time is really gonna help.
Yeah, and we've seen it exponentially, like just take off, just with the influence of technology. I mean, technology is a double-edged sword. It has its benefits and it has its negativity attached to it.
For sure. So, for those of us that are desperate due to age, that is not going to help us.
That's where healthcare comes in.
Say what?
So that's where Daniella comes in.
There you go. There you go. The doctor.
Increase longevity.
Oh yeah. Help you
there you go. All of us mid-30s people are like, oh, okay, 40 is 5 years away, 4 years. What? Ooh, got to figure something out. Can't wait for Gen Z. So it's just like, man, it's we're here, we're where we're at. And one of the things that you recognized in your video, Daniela, was really the reality of a journey. That you're talking about taking baby steps, like do this, do that. And I had my own journey. The other guys here had their own journey, and like you can't have everything overnight. And I often tell women that I talk to, I'm like, look, with the way that the dating landscape is right now, you will have to be okay with a guy not fully being there, but you can accept a guy who has the will to be there. If he's willing to continue heading in the right direction, I think you'll be fine. It's just, huh?
That was my boyfriend Josh, not to put him on blast, but like he was exactly what you said. He's like, I'm not about to tell my dad and mom about you yet, but I love you so much. I'm willing to make those steps forward. And now I'm at his house all the time. Like I was just there today, literally. So
there you go.
It's those baby
Proof.
steps, and that took, a span of a long time, and us, interacting, and him meeting my family, and so.
And that's what's up, and I mean that's just a situation. Like, thank God Generation Z is better than millennials, but I mean in that respect, they're not better than us completely because millennials rock. But there is hope for tomorrow. There really is. But we're at where we're at right now, and it's just like we're in an imperfect world, and we got to be able to work with each other. Because I think everybody's expecting these ready-made humans, and I'm like, it's not realistic.
No,
I mean, you can.
In the trans community, that is not realistic.
Yeah, especially for all these cis guys too. It's just
yes, 100%. And
so I've said it before on my on another stream that we have to be a lot more compassionate with each other and just handle each other a lot better, and just like it's because people are just very strict. Guys, you got to have this done. You got to do this. Got to do that. And guys like, ladies, you got to have this, and this. Now I have my standards as Chris. But that's just because I'm in a different place in life than some other people. And so, at my stage in life, I would like to have somebody who isn't particularly figuring out their life. They're already in a career. But, that's just because I'm not 24 anymore. Like I'm in a different place. So anywho, that's just my bullshit. But it's just a really imperfect world out here, but I really, really love the idea for your app, and I cannot wait. We have had people in the comments asking where they can download it. Can y'all please give them the skinny on that?
We are currently interviewing app developers, so we're still in the process of developing the product. We're hoping by the end of the summer that we would have something to just test out and to put out there, but it's still an idea at this stage.
Okay, and it's is it going to be on iPhone and Android?
Yeah, it'll be both. Yeah, we do want to say anyone who's interested to follow our Instagram account at Jeweled App. That would be really helpful because we're trying to build a community right now of future users. Just the Instagram account is really highlighting our stories as co-founders, and all of the features that we're trying to incorporate in the app. And we are listening to the people that are following us, what they're interested in as well. So you could be part of the development process with us. Aw, thank you.
Jeweled app. Follow it, y'all.
All right.
Look at that most recent post. What is
yes. yes. Appreciate the support, the promotion.
We're obviously still a small account, but we're growing.
Yeah, and follow it, everybody. Jeweled app on Instagram.
We also have a website as well if you're interested, jeweledapp.com. But
there you go, jeweledapp.com. Sorry, let me take this down. Yeah, so really, that's all I had for everybody today. I appreciate Daniella and Avi. Thank you so much for joining us. And Daniella, again, thank you so much for that video.
Of course.
We love it.
You repost it multiple times.
Yes.
Love it.
And we are definitely going to have you two back on once we enter that beta testing phase. We really want to take a look at it. We want to show it off here. This is your audience. Like, there you go. We're here for it. We're here to support, promote it. This is all. There are plenty of people who listen to this who are looking and ready for something new. And I think your app is definitely a part of the solution, a big part of it. So I can't wait. I would love to not be single by then still, but if I am, I'm all in.
Yeah. I hope not either. I hope I don't be still single neither. But it is what it is.
Well, we'll see. It's gonna be a pretty dope summer. I mean, this is our summer. We're coming off of COVID. I'm vaccinated. I'm ready. Like, yeah, like it's pool weather. I'm here for this shit. So let's do it. Okay, so wait, I'll tell this everything about where we can find y'all. So it's jeweledapp.com.
Yeah, jeweled https://jeweledapp.com. And there's a video of us. It's like about the co-founders, and you can subscribe on our wait list to be a part of our newsletter and all of that. So check that out as well.
There it is. All right, Mike, tell them about your podcast, man.
Yeah, it's the Real Talk Podcast. It's on most of the major streaming platforms: Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, all that. Like I said, I do several different topics on each episode, and I've had people like Chris from the Men Like Us podcast, Tro from the Men Like Us podcast on it. So definitely check it out. And if you want to find me, I'm at Mike Brooklyn on Twitter.
All right, Brother Tro, where can they find you, man?
Yeah, I'm King Cleatro everywhere on all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Clubhouse. I feel like the odd man out because I don't have a podcast yet, but yeah. But I do have a clothing line that's coming. I'm waiting for it to get patented. It's gonna be patented probably this week to really put it out there for people to see and everything. And yeah, that's about it. And I just want to ask a question. Danielle, are you on YouTube?
I am on YouTube. Sorry, yeah. Our Jeweled app has a YouTube, and then I have my own YouTube. The video that Chris played was from my YouTube. It's Med School Barbie.
Okay.
Because I'm a medical student, and I'm just obsessed with Barbie.
Okay.
So. But I post actually a series called Dating While Trans on there. I think I'm on episode 13, 14, and every couple of weeks I post a new episode, and it's usually at 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm really inspired to talk about issues that bother me or that I'm thinking about. And so I've got about 14 episodes so far. And that's all on my YouTube.
Here you go. Med School Barbie on YouTube.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Oh, you guys are so sweet.
There you go.
It's just ranting. Also, if you're just in like random other things, I talk about skincare, but like the Dating While Trans is the series that's most interesting to all of y'all.
For sure.
I don't
know. Well, no, I think it's important.
Sorry, I am making judgments.
No, it's cool. I think it's important. One thing that happens way too often in these spaces is, people get in relationships, they get married, and they kind of ride off into the sunset, and they don't share their experience. They don't share what they've learned, because there's a lot of women and men, in this space that really could use some of the lessons that you're learning. So I think it's very great that you're doing that. It definitely has value. So everybody, follow her. Again, what is this? Med School Barbie. Follow it. So, all right. So we're going to wrap this up with a little bit more promotion, y'all. Everybody, please follow me on Clubhouse. It's at MLU Chris, at Big Chris TX. I heard it was on Android, but I don't know anybody that actually got on there on Android. But yeah, Clubhouse is a dope spot. Follow me there. We have some great conversations on there. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And ladies, thank you so much for sharing these videos. Please continue to share these videos. You have a lot more men who need to hear this in your life than I do. So please share this with all the guys you know, the guys you interact with. They can really benefit from a lot of this stuff. And Jasmine Fazools, thank you so much for sharing the video. She had commented that she had shared it, but her men, what was it? I'm sorry, I want to find this.
She said her trade.
It's like, this never reached the people it needs to. I share it with my trade, but they don't receive it. Look, just share it with the people that need to hear it. And, if they receive it, cool. If they don't, that's on them. But, the thing is, men need to know that there's another way. Because before I got my first friend in this space, I had no idea. I had no idea this could be my life. I had no idea I could actually date women in this space. It just wasn't real to me. So, it takes this kind of stuff to really show people the possibilities in their lives and in the directions that their lives can go and how happy they can truly be. So with that said, we are out. Thanks everybody for listening, and we will catch y'all on the next episode of the Men Like Us podcast.